Valentine's Day. Love. Who's in love? Whoa, there was a couple of quick hands really fast. A couple of, let's do it again. Who's in love?
It's a good place to stand in love.
Very good. And it's a challenging place to stand, sometimes. So I was thinking today just about all the concepts, and last week we talked a bit about relationships on Friday heading into the weekend. And our relationships with others, most importantly our relationship with ourselves. And without sounding too cliche, although I do believe that life is just really a series of cliches, we have them for a reason. And I thought about all the things that we talk about, what love is, what love isn't, why we do it, why we don't, why we think we can't, why we think others may not be able to. I was thinking, you know, how could there be anything more to the conversation that I could add? And I sat in a meeting last night. I helped facilitate a conversation between two people for about 5 hours. All about love. How do we love? Why their challenges might be what they are what they are, and how do they move forward in that process. And some other words popped up, words like respect, compassion, listening, understanding, integrity, all of those things that we associate oftentimes with true love. And going through a recent experience within the last few months of my own relationship challenges, someone that I deeply love. But here's another cliche that we hear a lot. The timing's just not right. And someone who tends to be resistant to the concept of time, that doesn't sit very well for me. Screw timing. It's right now. Get it. Do you love me? Show me. Say it and mean it. And as much as certain people may want to, there's the reality that maybe it's just not time. Or they're not able to express it in the way that we want them to express it. Perhaps they don't have the awareness, the willingness, or the wherewithal. So another one that comes up is love is letting go. But how hard is it to let go of something or someone you love? Especially if you're in love. It can be the most difficult thing on the planet to do. To let someone go their path and leave you physically, maybe even emotionally, certainly mentally, on a certain level. And still hold that same level of love for that being as they walk away. And so the greater of the concepts that come with that, for me, is compassion. Because if we truly love, we truly get what it is, we're able to have compassion for those who even walk away or run and fight or fight. And remember that everybody is just a reflection. They're just something for you to be able to see and do for yourself. So to be able to turn that energy back inward and say, what is it that I feel I don't have, or I know I can't give, that I must give to myself, as I compassionately and lovingly let someone go. How can I be in love with myself even more? Be okay. Moving into that level of compassion that then leads into the unconditional side of love. Because we love conditionally 99.9% of the time. It's very few and rare beings that actually play out what that looks like in their real life. But I also believe that's changing. I believe that we are raising our consciousness and our awareness to be able to truly love beyond the conditions of how the love presents itself. Why do I think that's happening? Well, there's plenty of stories to support that. Sure, there's quite a few in here in this room, where you've had the opportunity to really practice what unconditional love is. And again, when we're putting that out into the world, we're able to do it for ourselves. And what does unconditional mean? Without judgment. Without expectations. Allowing things to be exactly as they are. And yet, not settling for just that. Taking it deeper and wider and broader in so many ways. And the challenge on this day is that there's so much energy around Valentine's and what it means in our culture. It's when couples, even if they're not completely happy if they're together, it's a day to set things relatively aside and appreciate perhaps what it is that they do have. And for those of us who might not be in a partnership, those reflections can be painful. I wish I got chocolates. Where are my flowers? Who's there to send me a Valentine? Buy yourself some flowers. Send yourself some chocolates. Give yourself a Valentine. Or go beyond that and do it for someone you love, who isn't necessarily a romantic partner. But it doesn't make it any less important or impactful. What helps me is I love to look for tiny little signs, and I'm a heart person. I love little hearts. I've thought about just buying heart stickers, and wherever I go around the world, I'm just going to stick heart stickers everywhere they go, so that once it's especially toilets. Because everybody's got to go there, right? Eventually. Maybe that's a campaign we can do. Spread the love. Just tiny little heart stickers somewhere on the wall. For those sitting, could look up, oh, there's a heart. Those standing could look up, oh, there's a heart. So I was looking at things this morning, and I had received this Shivalinga a while back. I received it, meaning I bought it, I saw it in a store. And if you don't know anything about Shivalingas, they're really powerful stones, typically from India, out of a river, and they're naturally formed this way. There's no carving of these stones, and the energy of them is represented as compassion, and it's very earthy energy. And I love this one because oftentimes you can find them in two colors, but this one was just so yin-yang to me. I just thought it was really cool. Usually you see them pretty asymmetrical, and as it rotates around, so if it was a circle, it'd be a little bit more yin-yang. And I got home, and I didn't realize that it had a tiny little heart.
Oh.
On one end of it. I went, oh, if there's a heart on the other one, but I just thought that was, and so it sits in my shower so that I can see that heart every morning. I shower with it. Beautiful expression, the way Source shows us its love. Another example would be I was walking down the street one day, and the road had broken up. It was a pothole. And I was like, oh, you know, little wound in the street. And I saw a piece that looked like a heart. I went, ah. Of course I had to pick it up. Bring it home. Just asphalt. But it reminds me of where love can show up. And it can show up just anywhere and everywhere, but mostly it has to show up here. I have to show up. In order to give it or receive it, I have to show up. And as long as I do, and as long as you do, and as long as we keep that energy alive, and constantly showing up for ourselves, giving ourselves what we most need, allowing ourselves to love ourselves unconditionally. It's crucial right now. And that's where the true healing takes place. That's when you begin to let go of what it is you think love is. And you get to really know this level of compassion, and this willingness to share and to serve and to be. And you become relatively unattached to the story. And you definitely get unattached to the story that goes on and is circulating out there in the world where people are suffering and in pain. And you can love those even more. Because it's all about relationships. The relationship you have with yourself. The most important relationship on the planet. And some people say, well, that's pretty selfish sounding. And I'll say, you love it. It's time we get really selfish about loving ourselves. Because you can't give what you don't have. And if you keep looking for it out there, in someone, you may be looking for a very, very long time. Perhaps forever. But when you do find someone, when you love yourself enough, and that someone shows up, and whether they show up for a day, a week, 100 years, that's when stars explode. That's when planets shift. And we're being called to do that right now. To really learn to love and let go. And be okay. And when someone else is suffering, to love them as much as universally possible. Until they are able to learn to love themselves as well. And it's practice, just like Qigong. Some days you'll do it better than others. And some days you will move into it effortlessly and beautifully and be like, oh, I got it. For right now, I got it. And I'm going to be with it. And I'm going to love that. These are exciting times. Today is a special day. Just like every day. No more, no less. Every day is Christmas, Valentine's, and your birthday. So just remember that. And today we will hold love and compassion for those who are learning to love and have compassion for themselves and others. And today, we shall love and have compassion for ourselves. Even more. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So now, let me ask that question again. Who's in love? Good. Alright, let's do some good old Qigong. Stretch your legs out.